minutes of fame. Let's go.
Yo!
Hey, now that is the way to come in.
And this is 14A Sports live streaming on internet radio.
Radio show.
And if you can't tell, this is a brand new intro because our bearded friend, A. Walsh, is on hiatus. So filling in for today, to my right, our boy Nipsey. Nips, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it very much.
Whoop, whoop.
And as always, to the far right, Richie the One-Line King. What up, Rich?
The One-Line King is here.
How we feeling tonight, fellas?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
Nice.
A little shocked with the news coming out of the NFL here in the last couple of hours.
Oh, man.
Breaking
Breaking news. Schefter broke that. So if you didn't hear, a rarity, right? A rarity. You don't see this in the
blockbuster
NFL.
deals in the middle of the season.
Trent Richardson traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Trent Richardson of the Cleveland Browns traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a first-round draft pick. Cleveland, they bench Whedon. They're going with the kid Hoyer. Obviously, they're just blowing it up. They're, I guess they want Jadeveon Clowney, right? Is that where they're going for the number one overall? Or they're looking at a quarterback at the top of the draft? They're doing something because they're certainly not playing for this season, right? They're just,
Well, look, through 2 weeks, 16 points for. Points against weren't that bad, but they're not scoring the ball.
Yeah,
they're
I
not
think
moving the
they're
ball.
solid.
So,
But I think we went down with an injury, right? I mean, is that
yeah, I think he had
that's
an
what
injury, and instead of going to Campbell, who had like 70 career starts, they decided to go with this guy
Hoyer.
I don't know.
They had it on SportsCenter. It was like pick Hoyer out of a lineup. They had like 4 pictures of white guys, and no one knew how he hit. Chris Carter was like, I don't know. So yeah, Hoyer, he's an unknown quantity, but you don't see this much in the NFL. A blockbuster trade mid-season. You very rarely see trades like this in the NFL, and never mind in season. Who even knows when the NFL trade deadline is? Maybe week 6 or so, but 4 even? Who knows? But
4 or 6.
let me ask you this: Do you think Cleveland got enough? They just drafted a couple years ago, so it went Andrew Luck, RG3, and then Trent Richardson, 3rd overall, right behind those quarterbacks. Now they're going to get an Indy first-round pick. Indy, was obviously fighting for a playoff spot, so now you're talking about, at the earliest, the late teens, but more likely in your early 20s. Is that enough for a stud running back like Trent Richardson?
I didn't think it was enough when I first heard it. I said, "That's it." It's a first and a fourth. First and a douche.
Yeah, it's weird, especially a guy so young. You figure
Second-year player.
He's a stud, man.
You
bring him into
back,
this Indy offense now.
And I mean, what? Last year in the draft, I think the first running back didn't go till Giovanni Bernard in the second round.
Gio Bernard, yeah. First
so
round.
it's, obviously it's not like these guys come around
Absolutely.
every day, but unless they think that there's another guy in the draft that they're going to get.
Well, I'll give you this though, from a Browns perspective, right? I mean, if you look at the Minnesota Vikings, they hands down had the best running back in football, right? The best running back in a while.
Yeah.
Where are they going with Christian Ponder? Nowhere fast, right? So it's a quarterback league. It's a points-driven league, as Rich said. The first 2 weeks they barely scored any points. 14 points in 2 weeks, 16 points
Only
in 2
team
weeks.
worse is the Jaguars.
And so they figure, they're blowing it up.
Another team that needs a quarterback.
They have multiple picks in the early rounds next year. And I think another key point is last year, Mike Lombardi, new ownership, new general manager. So the guys that drafted Whedon and Richardson, that front office isn't there any longer.
Yeah, they came from the home regime,
yeah,
right?
Mike Lombardi, formerly of the NFL Network, who used to bash Brandon Whedon on the NFL Network, said
All
he
the
couldn't
time.
play. Inherited these guys. So they're obviously putting their own fingerprint on it. And I'll tell you what. I think it's a huge addition for the Indianapolis Colts. They lose Vic Ballard, right? He's gone for the season with a torn ACL. Ahmad Bradshaw, as Giant fans, we know,
Solid, decent back.
an absolute warrior, but always with the foot problems, right? You don't know how much he has left in the tank. And here you go, you get a stud running back. So
that's a game changer. I mean,
2
especially
years
with
in.
you got Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Hilton. That offense looks totally more explosive now.
I'll tell you what, though, I don't
They're set up.
I don't like the way Pep Hamilton is calling their offense. I think Luck is a vertical thrower. I think they need to air the ball out a little bit more. Pep Hamilton was offense coordinator at Stanford. But I liked with Bruce Arians last year, who is all about throwing the ball down the field. I think that's where Andrew Luck, is at his best. So I haven't loved the play call in Indy, but obviously
well, you never
a huge
know now
upgrade.
with the running game changing now, it could open up the downfield a little more for him. They got to throw more up in the box now, respect the running game a bit more. You don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
But I guess the question is too, though, how quick can Richardson switch over and just learn this new playbook, and then all of a sudden, be up on every.
Well, I
single
think running
play
back
that the
isn't
Colts
so
have.
bad. It's a matter of knowing the gaps and holes you're going for. But receivers a little harder, I guess, with the routes and everything, and know where you're supposed to pick up the blitz because you don't want to get luck killed your first down on
Right,
the job.
so-
Yeah,
they-
I mean, you see that with
That's
David
pretty
Wilson
big.
right now. I mean, you see him getting a lot of flack for not being able, not knowing the blitz pickups and stuff like that. I
Well,
think
we'll
that's,
get into him.
But I mean, that's just step up and look for a lunatic running in, right?
Yeah, but an absolute rarity in the NFL for a player of that caliber
Yeah.
to be traded midseason, and
I mean, I can't remember the last time a superstar was traded mid-season. Never mind.
Oh,
traded,
mid-season, yeah. I mean, I remember
I don't
years
recall.
back when they traded Champ Bailey over to Denver. That was a
Clinton
big
Portis.
deal.
Yeah.
That was huge
Yeah.
because it never happens.
yeah, no, absolutely.
And
So
if it is, it's like a 6th-round pick. Like Brandon Lloyd went the other year, like for a 6th-round
right,
pick.
Anquan Bolden for a 6th round.
Oh,
yeah.
Randy Moss got traded during the draft.
Randy, that's a good one. Randy, Richard Seymour too. The Patriots
Yeah.
traded for a
Yeah,
first
that's
rounder to Oakland.
Belichick freaking
but,
rates Raiders.
a defensive lineman like that, and they both got traded to teams that Oakland was an elite team. We're looking to become an elite team, whereas Indy's definitely the playoff team last year,
That's what I
definitely
mean.
looking to
This-
make noise.
This puts them. I think it puts them. You got to give them the division absolutely above Houston and Tennessee now. Houston, they've played well so far, but I think that young team over there, they're going to make some noise, man.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to have a little bit later on in the segment, a little fill in the blanks, a new little segment we're going to come up with,
I like it.
surprising teams, etc. So stay tuned for that. But moving on, actually on Sunday, we watched all the games down at The Rock. The Rock was gracious enough to have us come down there.
Yes,
14A
very nice.
Sports gave us a great setup, a nice turnout. So we want to thank the Baruches down there. They did a great job. We appreciate you
always
guys
give
having us down there.
The 2 times, we did the draft party down there. We did our fantasy draft down there, and now we did this. And it's always, top of the line. They set everything up beautifully down there,
Yeah, I know.
and
And,
you
yeah.
can't ask for much more.
You can
Absolutely.
utilize the outside a little more when you guys are there and you get a little more people out there and kind of just BSing about
Right,
the
yeah,
game, kind
absolutely.
of talking and watching the TVs in the back. So
And actually, they just set up a thing. Actually, on Friday, they're having a halfway to St. Party's Day, or St. Patty's Day. So head down to the Rock on Friday. Get your fill of bagpipes and corned beef, and obviously shots of Jameson be flowing.
Corned beef will be there.
So
anybody,
yeah, check that out
Did anybody
Friday.
hit the cornhole shot yet?
No one hit the
No,
cornhole shot.
no.
No, we had.
There
we
was
had
almost
3.
a melee before the last cornhole shot there. It was a big fight break out out there.
Yeah, Mikey Zone got a little aggressive, but
All right.
but no, Diggs definitely. I kept praying for us to pick the name of a girl out of the hat because I knew they definitely wouldn't hit it,
Wow.
and I got called racist for that, which I didn't really
Racist?
understand.
I think sexist. I think
Yeah, well,
that's,
they weren't the brightest bunch, I guess.
Yeah,
But,
well, we're in Bayonne.
but so moving on this week, the 14A, we run our own suicide pool. 4 people got knocked out with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles a tough loss to the Chargers, last minute field goal. We'll talk about coaching decisions and in our fill in the blank game, but Chip Kelly kind of mismanaged the end of that game there. But so remember, if you're in our suicide pool, get those picks in before the start of the Thursday night game. Again, the Eagles against Kansas City
Is
is old.
anybody not taking Denver or Seattle this week?
I think those are the plays, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Seattle,
the
20-point favorites.
The rest of the schedule is pretty tough, to pick as a suicide pick right now. You hate to stay away from those. I like to stay away from like the Seattle this week because you always get knocked out with those big groups.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
this
it's-
is the week you got.
This one looks. I mean,
I took Seattle.
in the NFL. This is a short thing there is to a layup, right?
Right, you're in Seattle. It's Jacksonville, right?
Coming off a stomping of the 49ers, who many thought were the best team in the league.
So maybe,
the only
maybe a
thing
letdown game.
a letdown
but
game. That's what I thought.
but they're still at home,
No,
and
let's be realistic.
the crowd
about
is-
this. Yeah.
Is really a crazy advantage for them.
yeah,
I mean,
And Jacksonville's as close to a college team as you're gonna get.
Yeah,
They're
Jacksonville.
bad.
Yeah, if we get into our power rankings, we got the bottom 3. They're definitely sure to show up in those bottom 3.
yeah,
But,
I mean, and it's true also on the top 3, like top 2 or 3 maybe teams. Other than that, you got question marks all over
it's
the
a
board.
lot,
with teams,
a lot of mishmash. A lot of. I mean, NFL's parody now, right? It's
It's
built on
only
parody.
2 weeks.
It's always
Only
is,
2.
you
We'll
know?
get there. Hopefully, in another 2 weeks or a quarter way through the season, things start to take shape a little bit.
You know what it is with the NFL, baseball too. Now, you just gotta. Basketball's a different animal, but football and baseball, you just gotta get to the playoffs. You
Yeah.
gotta get into the. And the
yeah.
Giants showed
Giants,
you. I
yeah.
mean, the Giants did a perfect example. A 9-win
Incredible.
team, 2007, right? They start 0-2. Hopefully, we can repeat some of that. But But you just got to get there. Once you get there, all bets are off
And it's
because
just, yeah.
take away
It's the
maybe
hottest team when
Seattle,
you get there,
maybe New Orleans, but the home field doesn't seem to matter that much either.
No.
So.
Well, maybe if you get to Seattle, if you get to Green Bay, and it's 0 degrees and
The
snowing.
Giants went to Green Bay a
Right.
couple times
Right,
and
yeah.
beat them for Super Bowls. So
You are correct, sir.
yeah, we're gonna. So actually,
Even
Sunday
beat
night
Favre there, right?
after we left the Rock, me, Walsh, and Chucky Good, we stopped by a show. They had a show going on here, 7 to 9, The Secrets.
Dude, yeah.
And that was an interesting show. I'll tell you what, we took, sometimes we have a nice little crew in the Blue Room. They were rolling deep, man. They were rolling deep. They didn't even have enough cups for us.
See, when
It was unbelievable.
I popped in earlier to drop off the mics, and there was only the two of them here. That one girl just smoked, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There's a
Yeah.
couple smokes.
And
in
she
The Secrets.
obviously wanted me.
There's
right?
no
But I had
secret.
to-
I had other intending business to attend to.
I had to
Were
get
the
home and
48
play
sports girls at
Madden.
The Rock, by the way, or no?
No,
No, the
they
cornholes
weren't,
didn't make it.
They weren't in attendance. But we'll see them again.
Yeah.
They were great down at the Apple.
No,
They did a
dude, they
nice
worked
job.
their tails off.
Yeah.
Couldn't. They were great.
Nice tails too.
Hope they didn't.
Yeah. All right, so shout out. We appreciate The Secrets hosting us. You can check them out at 15mofe.com. Look at me, Uncle Rob, be proud.
Plug in.
So let's get into it. So the Giants, obviously, it's my team, Nipsey's team, local team. Starting off 0-2. We came into the season. Super Bowl's obviously at the Meadowlands this year. Jerry Reese put the countdown clock for the Super Bowl. So the expectations, kind of almost like the Yankees, World Series a bust. The Giants are putting that expectation on themselves. Super Bowl a bust, and now here we are, 0-2. Nips, you were at the game in the pregame lot. What was the feeling at Giant Stadium? Ooh, and I'm still calling it Giant Stadium.
Well, yeah.
What was the feeling in the parking lot? Going into that game.
Well, I felt like,
Drunk.
and along with I felt a lot of Giants fans felt like that this was a Giants game. I mean, like everyone was, on Denver's bandwagon. Everybody thought that they were going to take it. I mean, every time the Giants get counted out, it always seems like they come up and play their best games.
Yeah,
Right.
Last season,
Yeah, they rise to the occasion.
Last season, New Orleans and Green Bay came to our building. Best offenses in the league. When we shut them down, we beat them.
We go out to San Francisco, dominate them.
You always usually play up to our competition. So, I was fully expecting. Actually, but a good amount of Broncos fans showed up, which
Really?
was actually, I would say like 30% of the crowd.
Well,
did.
30?
a lot of that is, front runners going on Peyton.
Yeah, I heard tickets were going high value. So I guess if you want to see your team and you want to see them in local, I guess you pay
Wow,
up. But
that's surprising.
and I felt after the first half, besides the Giants is going for field goals every time, I felt pretty good about the Giants.
Right, the Giants go into the half down 10-9. Probably a pretty evenly played. The Giants probably outplayed them. As you said, you got to capitalize those opportunities.
Yeah.
You get to the red zone, or as Coughlin calls it, the green zone.
right?
Yeah.
You know what's they can't run the football. They can't run the football.
Well, you got to hold on to the ball. That's what it comes down to. Too.
And you could see Wilson running the ball. He was making sure
so
he held on
nervous.
to the ball.
Yeah,
Had the double hands over the ball.
But you
Definitely
gotta,
taking
but-
away his explosiveness. But Myers is there. Myers got it's a high. Myers has to make that catch. He has to come down.
And
He has to
Myers-
make that catch.
Myers is going. He's going into the end zone on that one catch. I don't know if you guys see that, but he's running down the middle of the field. Turf Monster just takes him and eats him up.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like there was a guy within 5 feet of him.
Right.
From the stadium from where I'm sitting, it looks like he's wide open for that end zone.
It
and
is
then
the
he falls
swamp,
down.
Yeah,
Stood
Jimmy
something
Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa
Yeah.
reached up,
Down,
right?
and, yeah.
It's like they used to have a hill in the old Giants
You,
Stadium.
you take the game in retrospect, and now here you got, no Sean Marino of all people. The game is 17-16, right? Brandon Jacobs goes in for the score. And now, here comes no Sean Marino. He was given up for dead, no? Where did he come from?
Yeah, he was supposed to be the odd man out in that backfield, right?
Who was talking about him preseason? Nobody.
No.
You heard about
no one
Denver
at all.
backfield. You heard about Ronnie Hillman, Monty Ball,
Yeah.
the rookie
Right.
they just drafted.
And they caught a break. Was it Ball or Hillman going into the end zone on the 3? I think it was Hillman going in for the score and fumbles on the 3. So he kind of got that was a big break for the Giants, but he kind of got shut out. And here comes no Sean Marino catching a ball, running in from 20, 25 yards out.
Looking like the guy you thought he was going to be out of college.
Right, the Georgia. He was a stud at Georgia.
Right.
He's a Jersey guy.
Yeah.
Middletown.
Well, I think the Giants, they'll be all right. But it's, like I said, it comes down to holding on to the ball. You can't turn over. And Eli, he's with 7 picks so far.
7 picks. He had 4 this game, 3 the last game. 7
But
total
he'll
picks.
turn it around.
I mean, some bad luck. I mean,
He is the
really,
leader
one-
of that team, and
that
he'll
one
pull them all
tip
together.
balls.
The team goes as Eli goes.
You know, it hits off the guy's shoe and it goes, right to the Denver defender,
Yeah.
and you're like, I mean,
But,
how many times?
Well, when it
in a
rains, it
year?
pours. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I'll tell you though, as a Giant fan, not the two main things for me. I agree with Eli. If Eli doesn't play well, it doesn't matter. See, we're
Right,
not
yeah.
gonna be there anyway. But assuming Eli reverts back to form, the two things. One, we're not running the ball at all, and I think they've given up on Wilson entirely too early. I think he's by far the most talented player in that
Oh, yeah.
backfield, like hands
Absolutely.
down. It's not even close. They still have to go to him, and they still have to challenge him. You know what? If he's gonna fumble, you're not gonna win without running the ball, and he's the only guy in that backfield that can run the ball. So
Yeah.
he needs to step up. And two, and probably most importantly, where's the Giant pass rush? Where is the
for
Giant
the
pass
past-
rush?
I feel like I've been saying for the past 2 years, it's where's the Giants pass rush. I mean, everyone says,
You're
oh,
right.
this vaunted defensive line, Jason
Right, that's
Pierre-Paul
all you hear
top,
about, right?
Blah, blah, blah. I mean, they can rotate in 7
Yeah.
guys. They got this NASCAR formation.
Yeah.
All right.
7 guys, and none of them get to the
They
quarterback.
they slid down Kiwanuka. They drafted a kid out of A&M, DeMontre Moore. Jonathan Hankins. They had some beef inside. Mike Patterson inside. Cullen Jenkins inside.
Yeah.
So they put a lot of their resources into the defensive line. Because maybe if the outside guys aren't getting it done, maybe you push the pocket from the inside out. But it's not there, man. It's not there. And the one play, they have Peyton dead to rights. I think it was Sean Rogers had Peyton dead to rights. Peyton can't even move. Somehow he escapes and dumps it off to Decker for a first down and moving the chains. And I think that, and like you said, as Giant fans, we've been saying it, where is that Giant pass rush? And if that doesn't come
That
around.
hurts, right.
it-
Because
where-
now you got
where
to
are
bring
we?
extra blitzers up, and then
Yeah.
it leaves you less guys in coverage. And especially playing a team like the freaking Broncos, you need as many guys back there as you could. So you hope that your front four could get to the quarterback. But I mean, they pay those guys a lot of money in front of Peyton Manning.
So the Giants moving on. Carolina, week 3 in Carolina.
It's such tricky games.
If you remember last year,
we
Giants
crushed them.
similar Thursday night game. I remember I was out in San Diego. I watched that game in San Diego. Knicks actually was out, and I think it was Ramses.
Andre Brown.
Andre
showed
Brown,
up
but
big
Ramses
time.
Barton had about 10 catches. And they just hammered them. So I tell you what, it's very early, but you can't go 0-3. This is a must-win game for the Giants. It's a
absolutely.
must-win
I agree
game.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go 0-3. You don't want to step in that hole. It's tough because, like you said, 1st to 9 wins that division. So now you're giving yourself 4 more games to lose the rest of 3 or 4 more games
Right.
max
Yeah.
to lose
Right.
the rest of the season. I
Right.
mean, it's the NFL. You're going to lose games the rest of the season.
Yeah, schedule and bad weeks.
Right,
And,
you know.
But
Tough breaks.
exactly like you said, looking around the rest of the NFC East, there's no clear cut favorite at all. You have an 0-2 Washington team, and RG3 looks like a shell of himself. They're talking about putting him on the bench for Kirk Cousins, which is bananas.
right.
Like
I think that's a lot of fans.
that's
A lot of
bananas.
I think
You
Shanahan
can't
shut
do that.
down.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. But RG3 isn't there yet. But they started out 3-6 last year, so
Right.
They could come on.
Then you got the Eagles,
You got
right?
the Eagles, the 1-1 Eagles, who they had that game. They should have won that game against San Diego and
Yeah,
Philly.
Chip Kelly dropped
I
that
think
one.
what happened here, right, is think about it. After week 1, because going into the season, nobody really thought much of the Eagles, right? Now, week 1, they come out and they look sexy in that first half. And everybody's like, oh, man, we got to jump on this Eagles. And
The offense still looks good.
Bam.
I
Right.
mean, the offense
yeah,
still looks great.
But the
defense
defense
might
couldn't
be a
make a
different
stop.
story,
Did
but-
San Diego punt once?
I don't know, but
Maybe
if
once.
they
I
did, it
kinda
wasn't
saw bits
often.
and pieces of this game,
Yeah.
but-
I mean, Eddie Royal. Who's Eddie Royal? Eddie Royal went and had 3 touchdown career day. And Phil Rivers rising from the dead. How about that?
Hey,
Yeah,
he's
he's
got to
another
be
one coming out
available
of-
in
out
like
of the
every
grave.
fantasy
Yeah,
league, right?
I-
mean,
yeah.
I've seen him out there.
I have Cam Newton on a bye week at 4. I scooped up Rivers to have him play that bye week. But the NFC East is absolutely wide open. How about your Cowboys, Rich? What do you see
Well,
from them?
it's the same old story with the Cowboys. I think you look at like week 1, right? They got all those turnovers there in the first half, and after the first quarter, you got nothing but 3 points to show for it, right? They get them. They get these teams. They can't deliver the knockout blow. They let them back at the end of the game. There, almost lost there against it. They were in
Right.
good position. Eli was coming back down the field. I
Right.
had my freaking heart in my throat.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so we get out of that game. We go to week 2 and lose a disappointing game by 2 points on the road. Defense only gave up 17 points. Where's the offensive geniuses, Garrett and Callahan?
And Garrett and Callahan didn't seem like they were on the same page in a post game, man. It looks like there's some dissension there.
It's ridiculous.
That doesn't, Callahan seems to be Jerry Jones's guy, and Garrett going against that grain. And I still say with the Cowboys, they're vastly talented, but
Right.
until
All
the
the
ownership,
talent.
until that whole team gets on the same page, they're not going
The
anywhere.
pieces are all there for them to win. I mean, they just can't do it, and they've gone through a million coaches. I mean, we brought in Parcells, we've brought in Parcells to rebuild everything, and then he put his guy in there with Garrett and. Well, we tried Wade Phillips, but I mean, we tried everything except for getting rid of the owner because let's face it,
you can't.
the only thing that worked was when he first bought the team.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson got to build everything, and
then
he
you
stood back a little bit, and then once he stepped up,
And then you got Stephen Jones, his son, and the guy that cleans
Yeah.
Jerry's glasses waiting
this
in the
is
wings.
just like the Raiders situation. Al Davis, the
ghost
Davis
of Al
family.
Davis.
Well, his son,
Still,
his son inherited the team and then fired the only coach to go 8-8 to not have a losing season in a decade. So,
Nah,
Absolutely.
this is it's just gonna be bad until ownership changes or until he stands out of the picture and puts football people to do football things.
Well, you
yeah.
never know. I mean, maybe they get the next college coach and like a Chip Kelly guy and bring them in and be like, all right, well, see what they can do. But
Well, they
I
have
want
plenty of
Green
talent there.
Coward.
But speaking of college, we'll get much more to the NFL in the next segment. But speaking of college, huge top 10 game, number 1
Johnny football.
Yeah, number 1 Alabama versus number 6 A&M. A&M at A&M goes up early. Puts Alabama on the ropes a little bit. And I'll tell you what, for as good as Johnny Manziel played, and I said he was going to play well, not as well as he did play. I had over 500 total yards, 4 throwing, 100 rushing. A.J. McCarron impressed me a lot. A.J. McCarron absolutely impressed me.
He played a very clean game.
I thought he was a Trent Dilfer-esque quarterback, a game manager.
Exactly,
Couldn't win
yeah.
a game. He came out. He won that game. Alabama has a lot of skill on the outside. He came out. He made some throws. Threw for over 330 yards. He was impressive in that game.
Yeah, right. He had a very clean game, and like you're saying, I think he is a game manager, not in a bad sense of the word, though. Like, you could trust him with the ball. You put the ball in his hands and go down there and win it every time. I don't know. But, yes, he's very clean, and you can trust him to run your offense.
Well, that last play when A&M scores, Alabama gets the ball back. Basically, if they score, they're up a touchdown. They score a touchdown. The game's basically over. They have that third down inside the A&M 10, and they run the ball, get stuffed twice, and they call timeout. McCarron goes to the sidelines, and he calls the play. Saban gives him the ability to call a play. He calls a little play action. Fullback leaks into the open field, and he hits him for the score and basically put that game away. Alabama actually subsequently came down. I'm sorry, A&M came down later and scored a late touchdown with 30 seconds left, which did what? It made me a winner. A&M got the cover on that game. A little garbage time backdoor cover.
They said Vegas because the line was like 8.5 pregame. Everybody bought it down to 7. They said it's like I forget how many millions of dollars swung right there.
I'm sure. I think Walsh told me on
He
Sunday
had the
that
number,
it was like $5 million.
5 million, right? Yeah.
But that seems like I would guess it'd be more. Honestly, I really think that'd be more.
Well, that's the reported numbers to Vegas.
Right? Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
illegal
No,
books.
absolutely. But if you remember Chris Duhon shot when Duke played UConn in a Final Four game, the semifinals, and they were down 5, and the line was 3. Duhon threw from half court and banged it to cover 2 points. They said over $300 million changed hands. So I'm sure a huge SEC game like that.
I used to work in a restaurant when that happened. The guys had UConn. Thought they covered. Bought the bar around. He gets that shot. My buddy Andrew's bartender, he's like, sorry, guys, $35 around.
Oh, man.
Tough break.
That's my luck, right?
Absolute tough break.
Just some of those Manziel plays that he made in that game were just like,
This guy.
I mean, I don't know how they worked out in their favor every time it seemed but he's getting dragged back by about 50 guys and throwing it up in the middle of the crowd, and somehow an A&M guy comes down with it. I'm looking at him, I'm like, that's not a good play,
that
but
intangible,
Yeah.
man.
But
He's
it worked,
got like that thing that like Jeter got. Like he's just a winner. You can't explain it.
Well, how about that receiver that kind of came? He just broke out to the national stage. Mike Evans from A&M.
Evans, yeah.
7 catches for like 227 yards, a couple touchdowns. You know what? He's got NFL body, man. He's 6'5", 225.
Love that.
Kid's a stud. Kid's an
it
absolute
seemed
stud.
like he won every matchup they put him on. I mean, they
6'5",
had quiet there for a little,
225.
but even towards the end of the game, they were still going towards him, and he was still coming up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, it helps when you got a receiver like that, with that big body, big
course,
frame,
of
and
course.
he's making the plays. Come on.
Yeah, when you get, it's Calvin Johnson-esque, right? You just
Right.
throw it up. Double coverage doesn't
Right.
matter.
If he runs a 4.3 like Calvin Johnson,
Yeah.
oh god.
But so talking about Manziel, how about projecting him forward? How about Manziel going to the NFL? Where do you see him? You think he's you think he's a first round pick? You think he's a player? What do you see him doing in the NFL?
I absolutely see him being a player in the NFL. I mean, Tim Tebow went in the first round, right?
No,
Does that scare people
Can we
away
not
from
talk about Tim Tebow?
Well, I'm saying
Why does Tim Tebow always come up?
He went,
Jacksonville
right?
should sign him, just saying. But
We're not talking about that. That's a moot topic.
No, I'm saying, I see him as a player, absolutely. first round.
Right,
Yeah.
not your prototypical drop back NFL quarterback, but
But I mean,
But that's the
kid makes
NFL,
plays, right?
NFL's,
It's a change in
yeah.
league. No,
I
absolutely.
mean, I think they say it's a change in league, but then you look at all the quarterbacks that came in last year, like the Wilsons and the RG3s and the Kaepernicks, and they made their success last year by running the ball and being that out of the pocket
Right, but
guy
now they
that
still
can be a
stand
dual
back there and
threat.
throw.
And now they're trying to cut that all back. So it's
True.
like, do you
Well, you got to keep
say
them
that
guessing.
Manziel's going to make plays with his legs, or he's not? I mean, he plays alive excellently, obviously, as we just talked about.
Right.
Well, he could come in and
But he's
do the same
a tiny
thing.
guy. He's not that big, I don't think. is
He's
he?
not. He's 6'1", and he's thin. He doesn't look thick. He really doesn't. He looks like a thin
So he's
guy.
gonna have to learn to stay in the pocket
But-
a little bit.
I mean,
Then-
Breeze is a shorter
Bree-
guy.
Breeze
but-
is
Breeze,
6
Breeze
foot.
is,
Yeah.
Breeze is built.
But I don't
Breeze
know
is
if
built.
Manziel has an
But-
arm like
But
him.
Breeze, right, and Breeze at Purdue, Breeze didn't. He wasn't a mobile guy. Breeze,
no.
he was 6'1", but he
He's a
stood in the
pocket
pocket. And
Yeah.
threw it. Even at Purdue, I remember him slice up Notre Dame
Yeah.
4 straight years. He absolutely stood in the pocket and delivered the ball. Not that Manziel can't do that, but Manziel's so dynamic because of his legs. So it should be interesting moving forward. Not that many huge games on the college slate this week, but I do. My man Gra, we talked to Gra on the last segment last week, and we talked about some college lines. And
How did that Louisville line play out?
well, Gra wanted me to highlight the Oklahoma State game. The line was 59, and Gra said take the
yeah,
over because Oklahoma State will hang 59 by themselves. And you know what the score was? 59-3. Oklahoma State
Nice.
covered, got
Nice.
the over by themselves, and Gra.
Good job, Gra.
Yeah, he was all about that. So
that's a
props.
tip of the cap right there.
Yeah, props to him on that one. But,
That is good.
All right, we're gonna take our first break. This is new for me, man. This is new. The beer's not
know,
here.
you're
I'm taking
running
it to the
it.
break.
You're
How
running
about
it.
that? So we'll take our first break. We
Gotta
got
a little goatee.
we got we got Man Made Machine with Victim. You can check them out at manmachine.com. And we'll play 2. Audio Insight also. Bathe
right.
in the Earth. Audio Insight is 14daysports.com.
on 15 minutes of fame.
15 minutes of fame. Let's go.
A-Plus Graphic Screen Printing is a full-service provider for all of your screen printing needs. Located in Bayonne, we provide quality, personalized service throughout Union County and Jersey City, as well as the greater New York area. A-Plus Graphic Screen Printing can handle your t-shirt printing for unions, private parties, family reunions, election events, corporate events, golf outings, and so much more. We are also able to print on caps, tote bags, sweaters, towels, and more. So no matter what you need printed, we have the solution. Call today to get started. A-Plus Graphic Screen Printing.
Yo! And this is the 14A Sports
That's very close,
radio show.
Holy Grail.
I thought you were going for like Yabba Dabba Doo there, the way you came in, but
I ain't know Yabba Dabba doing.
I like that.
We
I
ain't
like
doing
the,
that.
I like the new intro. I think Walsh is fired from intros from now on.
It's weird without the beard. He's getting Wally pipped, man. You're at one time. He's losing his spot. All right, so let's get back right into the NFL. The other local team, the New York Football Jets. I'll tell you what. As anyone watches the show, I've been as anti-Jet. And not because I don't like the Jets. I just didn't think they'd be a good team. I don't think Rex Ryan knows what he's doing as a head coach. But the man coach defense. And, they sneak a win out of Tampa Bay. Luckily, they get that, personal foul call. But, hey, a win is a win in the NFL. You take it, you move on. And they come back on that Thursday night. I'll tell you what, they should have beat the Patriots. They had that game. They
Yeah.
absolutely should have beat the
Geno
Patriots.
forced it there at the
they,
end.
They had a lot of opportunities. They're in field goal range to tie the game.
You gotta learn just
Brady
to-
was completely flustered, yelling at his receivers all over the place. That Jet defense looked very good. Obviously, the rain helped, no doubt. But that Jet defense, they could play, man. They absolutely could play.
Yeah. And they'll keep him in a lot of games.
Absolutely, they'll keep him in a lot of games. But so now here we come, typical Jets, right? They always got to make headlines on silly stuff, right? So now Geno Smith, right? I think has played pretty well. You're gonna expect those interceptions from a rookie quarterback, but has played pretty well. Has shown some flashes. His receivers didn't do him any favors in that New England game, but I think he's played pretty well. And so here comes Rex saying Geno doesn't have a job beyond week 3, and we'll evaluate it from there. Like. Just say Geno's a quarterback. Period.
Yeah.
Amen. Like give me
stop
a
it. Yeah.
give me a Belichick. Like what purpose is Rex Ryan serving for what motive is he saying, well, beyond week 3, we don't know what Geno's doing? Why is he doing this? And
Right,
what do you guys
because-
think
because
about
what's
it?
your plan now? You lose to Buffalo, you're gonna pull him, bring in Brady Quinn or somebody. Yeah,
With Matt Sims?
What do you? And then that's with Geno's head totally by pulling him out. After you give him 3 starts, you got to go with him.
Yeah, especially the fact that, I mean, he seemed competent enough where he
Right.
can make plays. I mean,
Right,
especially
it's
with his
just that-
legs, if it's up, breaks down. I mean,
You know, at the end there, he wanted to make a play so bad that he made a stupid play. He's gonna learn, get rid of the ball.
But it's his second NFL start, right?
Right,
And
exactly,
he's a rookie
yeah.
quarterback in a new system, right? He didn't play a system anything like that at West Virginia.
Right, and he
He's
looks
in a new
all right,
system.
yeah.
I think he's played pretty well. I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with that Jets offensive line. They
We were talking about
against,
this the other day,
against
yeah.
the Patriots. They were getting push up front, and the Jets were able to run the ball a little bit. Ivory
Yeah,
looks like if Ivory can stay healthy, he gets banged up out of the game. They still want to give carries to Powell, but that Jet front line, they were getting some push. Vlad Dukas actually looked
yeah.
like an NFL offensive lineman,
That's what I said
and
the
not a
other day,
swinging
is
gait.
They said he made strides in camp, and it's carrying over into the season
especially
for
against
him.
Wolford. I mean,
Yeah.
that's no
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
He's one of the best D lines in the game.
Yeah, right.
Willie Colon, a huge addition at the other guard. Maybe he's took Dukas under his wing, showing him the ropes a little bit, but definitely progressing. But then here the Jets come again, and why? Like you said, Rich, why mess with the kid's head? Right? He's a rookie quarterback. You want to give him as much. I feel like they did the same thing to Sanchez to a
Yeah.
degree.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe the opposite. Like they didn't push him at all, and now he's saying you're not even going to start. Like, give the kid some confidence.
Well, then
right?
Sanchez is coming out. Oh, I felt like I won the quarterback competition, but
Yeah, you know
just
what?
because I'm banged up, it's
Go
like,
put your headband on and do another vine, dropping your pants.
Yeah, I heard he's
you're irrelevant.
I heard he's fielding a fantasy team now.
yeah.
Is he gonna
Because now
play
he's not
this year?
playing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But so the Jets in a big game for them this week. Absolutely in division game
Oh, yeah, huge.
against the Buffalo Bills. The Jets are 1-1. They have a tough. They're at Atlanta next week, so that's a tough game. They're gonna need to win this game if they're gonna make any kind of season for themselves. You got the two
But do they
rookie
want to make a season
quarterbacks.
for themselves, though?
If Rex Ryan doesn't, he loses the job. So absolutely he
well,
does. No
true,
doubt about
true.
it. But you know what, though, in the NFL, take the Browns away because you rarely see that. It's a week-to-week thing. In basketball, teams, tank. They get young and they tank for those high draft picks. In the NFL, it's not like that. Like, you play every week for your job.
Yeah.
It's a different element. They absolutely are playing to win, right? Every coach in there, every coach is coaching his ass off because he knows if they don't get the job done, they're going to get replaced. And every player the same way. So big game for them to make a season for them. They have to win this game. So you got the two rookie quarterbacks, E.J. Manuel, who led a game-winning drive last week against Carolina, against Geno. Two of the top quarterbacks taken in the last draft, two rookie quarterbacks. What do you see this Jets-Bills matchup going with?
Good.
Me? I'll take it. I like EJ Manuel, actually. It seems like he can make plays. I mean, I think he's got some weapons there. He got Spiller. I mean, Fred Jackson is making a little revival. I mean, Stevie Johnson looked great last week. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you had flashbacks to that Pittsburgh game where he had that open
and he
catch in the
dropped
end
it.
zone. He just drops it, and then you see it like it's like a replay.
Yeah.
But he catches it. Wins the game with 2 seconds left. You see Manuel hugging his dad in the stands. He's breaking down crying. I mean, I think he could. The Bills could come out of that division as maybe a wild card.
Yeah, well, you got the 2-0 Dolphins, who are a little bit of surprise, 2-0 Patriots,
Which,
so we'll see.
yeah.
But this is a make-or-break game for both of them going forward. They both lose
Right.
to the Pats. Both actually could have beat the Pats.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
both of them.
The Bills
both
were
both
in
of them
that,
could have
yeah.
won that game, but they both fall to the Pats. The Pats no longer look like the big brother. They're still the champs until they're not the champs, but
Yeah.
they don't look like the force that they have been in recent years.
Especially not offensive.
Well, I got the Dolphins winning the division.
And
this
so,
year.
do you
so
really?
Richie got Dolphins. So we'll get into that very shortly with the fill in the blanks. But so the Jets? I think
like
the line is
Manuel.
3 points.
3 points.
What do you like?
I like the
you,
Bills.
you don't have to. You like the Bills?
I like the Bills. Yeah, like you said, Manuel. I think that's going to carry over from last week. That last drive, 9 plays, 80 yards. Right down the field. Made the plays he had to make and to win the game, and I see that carrying over for them. And Geno, I don't know. For both of them, it's going to be interesting to see if they can handle.
It's funny for Geno. It seems like everyone's making the excuse. Oh, he's got no weapons. He's got no weapons. But then no one wants to make that same excuse for Sanchez. I mean, I think Geno's still handcuffed that he doesn't really have a lot of people to go to around him.
Right.
I mean, he's still throwing to
Oh, no,
Curly.
offense.
or-
Clyde
horrible.
Gates. Actually, they miss Curly a lot in
Well,
New England.
San
Clyde Gates
Antonio
dropped
Holmes
about
is there.
1,700 passes.
San Antonio
he
Holmes
was
is there to
brutal.
make the big
Yeah,
plays
but he's
for
still
him.
hurt. I mean, he's still banged up.
He's
I mean,
hurt when he wants to be hurt.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't see the Jets having enough weapons to make enough plays to win it. That's what I think is going to hurt them this whole season.
Right.
And then
Right.
hurt Geno Smith too.
Moving forward, who do you like as a better future pro, Manuel or Geno Smith?
I like Manuel in the long run.
Yeah, I'll go with him as well.
Manuel, yeah, higher pick. I like Manuel coming out of Florida State. Manuel's very good at Florida State. He just turned the ball over in crucial times. He really
his
did.
stock, remember around draft time, his stock rose up late, and
Yeah, Marone took him in front of his
quarterback
guy.
taken.
Naseeb,
Yeah,
16
Naseeb.
overall, first round, only first round
But
quarterback.
I remember in the shows leading up to the draft, remember he snuck all the way up to the top of the first round in a lot of projected picks. And,
Right.
And
Yeah, 'cause
you
people
thought
talk about-
you thought a lot of those guys were crazy at first, right? Until you thought about it, and then
Yeah, well, some guy had him going number 3 overall.
Right,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
that
yeah,
was entirely too high, but I thought he was the most talented kid. I liked him a lot at Florida State. I watched a lot of Florida State games. He just made bad decisions in like the red zone and turned the ball over too much. But supremely talented, 6'5", big kid,
Yeah.
a rocket arm. So if Marone could coach him up, I think the Bills have something there. But all right, so that's the Jets. Let's get into a new segment. It's going to be NFL fill in the blanks. So basically, how it works, I'm going to read you guys off a statement, and kind of like a little SAT prep here, and you guys fill in the blank. So let's start right here. And granted, I know it's only week 2, right? You can't draw too many conclusions in week 2, but here we are in week 2, so let's talk about it. Number 1, the best player in the NFL so far has been Nips. Who you got?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
I mean, I know it's an easy one, and
No-brainer,
it's a give
huh?
me. It's low hanging fruit, but I mean, what has he got? Like about 9 touchdowns already throughout.
I mean,
the,
7 in the first
7
game, right?
I mean, yeah.
Right,
So I mean,
yeah.
he had 1 or 2 probably versus the Giants. I mean, especially after all the surgeries, I was down on him a lot this year, just coming into the season, thinking that. I mean, I know he's got all these weapons, but I mean, I just feel like one bad hit, he could go down, and he's done, and
37, 38, yeah.
but, he's getting it done still, and
you see it a lot though with him. When he sees a guy cut clear through that line, he gets down.
Oh, he's
he
down.
don't wait to get hit.
Yeah.
he
No,
sees
no,
it coming.
yeah.
He's tough. He's tough to get to because, like you said, he'll be quick with the ball, or he'll know he'll take. He
That
won't,
boy
he won't
knows
take
they're
that
coming
hit.
before they know.
Actually,
they're coming.
they had I forget who the defensive player was, but they had a retired defensive player on the radio the other day, and they were giving Roethlisberger credit for standing in the pocket and taking all those hits. And so the guy's like, well, who don't you give credit for? Like what quarterbacks don't you do? He goes, Peyton Manning. You breathe on Peyton Manning, and he goes down. But you know what? Why not? Right? You play to the next down. That's
Yeah,
it.
You live to fight another day. That's it,
Roethlisberger looks like he's about 114 from taking all those
Yeah.
hits. So Peyton Manning is
He's a
playing the
big dumb
long.
idiot.
He's playing the long game smart.
Right, absolutely,
You might not make that play, but he's going to make 10 more down the road. So, Rich, who you got? The
I-
best player in the NFL has been.
Also had Peyton Manning. I mean,
Peyton.
look, averaging 45 points a game right now. That offense. How do you go? Like I said, beginning of the season, I know Walsh was hating on the Broncos a little bit there, but I said, no, man, they're going to come out and click. He's got all these weapons around him, and look what he does.
One
Interesting.
interesting thing
amazing.
will be with Clabby going down. Their
Right,
left
the tackle. Yeah,
I
who
mean,
they
that
just gave a
could-
big contract to. Absolutely.
I mean, they always say the left tackle is a big guy.
In Peyton,
protecting the
we trust.
backside.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, he makes all those line calls, all those adjustments. Nips, I see. Interesting on your paper, you got Shady McCoy written down. You've
Dude,
been
I'm
impressed
really
with him
impressed.
so far.
I feel
huh?
like he's the cat. I mean, I know everyone's loving Vic right now, but I feel like he's the dangerous guy that kind of draws all the defenders in. I mean, and that Monday night game, I mean, he was moving like
Yeah, he was a beast. Yeah.
Oh,
he was juking
tremendous.
and gyring people
Yeah.
out of their shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he's like really impressive, especially after last season when he kind of had a down year.
Bryce-
He was a little banged up.
People are looking for Bryce Brown maybe to take a lot more carries away. Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely was.
I feel like
hoping for
McCoy's
that,
been a
but-
stud.
Not no more.
Nah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, so let's get on number 2. The NFL's biggest disappointment player-wise has been.
Now, I went position. I gave it to 2 different
Okay.
overall positions. I
position
feel like
group?
the Patriots receivers and the Giants running backs have just been.
Okay, interesting.
Very nice.
I mean, I feel like there's step ups to be gained. I thought Wilson was going to come and have a year. I thought everybody talked about Kenbrell Tompkins, Zach Sudfeld,
Yeah.
Andre Dobson, all these guys the Patriots had.
Right.
And I mean,
Amendola, people looking to have a
Right,
huge year,
yeah,
banged up after the first, had a big
you know.
week 1, and now he's out with a hernia. Who knows when you'll
and
see
I
him
mean,
again?
And like you just said with the Jets on Thursday night, you just saw that there was just plays where they were going the wrong way, dropping balls. I mean,
Oh, Brady was pissed too.
oh my
he
God,
was pissed.
he was.
Oh, he's not used to this. I mean,
Yeah.
look, all of his was top 5 pass catchers from last year are gone.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
you know,
They can't wait for Gronk to get back, huh? They said maybe they're gonna push him. They said maybe week 3, but I don't see him week 3.
Yeah.
But they're gonna put him on the field as soon as he's even close to ready. Because
I mean, even if
just
they
like you
get
said,
him, just to get a decoy to
Right.
try to free other people up. I mean,
absolutely. All right, Rich. Biggest disappointment so far for you has been.
Adrian Peterson.
Oh,
Let's go with him. Outside of that
Okay.
76-yard
Interesting.
first
I like
run of the
that.
season, What has he done for me lately? Really?
Yeah, he got 100 yards versus the Bears, but I mean, no touchdown.
He had the one big run.
Didn't really look that.
And then,
and versus the Lions too. And
Oh
I mean,
yeah, that was the.
I think what covered it up is he had 3 touchdowns versus the Lions.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, remember his fantasies, like, oh,
But-
Peterson. But yeah, no, he definitely hasn't
And
dominated.
they're
like
0-2, so I mean,
like you thought
it's
he
a lot. It goes a lot farther than him, but they went to the playoffs last year, and
On the legs
a
of
lot
Peterson.
it was him, so he could take the brunt of going 0-2.
Right
also.
now, you weren't expecting him to come back with another 2,000+ yard season, but he
No,
hasn't
but-
been himself
yeah,
so
right.
far. All right, so we have a caller to the 14A Sports Show. Hey, welcome, caller, to the 14A Sports Show, and you are
This is Mike McCoy, man. What's going on, bro?
Mikey Spank.
Spanky.
What's
I
up,
thought we
brother?
put you on the blocked list.
Yeah, it's all good.
Can we get some pizza masters in the studio, please?
Yeah, well, no, how awesome would that be? Yeah, wait till they open. Wait till they expand. Anyway, that would be actually a really good idea, probably.
You're gonna get an ownership position on the next Pizza Master expansion.
Yeah, I wish, man.
buy stock?
He rolls in cash, bro. Anyway,
If they were doing
Dude.
IPO, I'd buy it up right now.
All right, Spank. What do you got for us tonight, brother?
did we just get smacked in the face by the shockness of the trade, or what? Did anyone see Trent Richardson trade going? I didn't. I don't know about you guys.
Right.
I thought, no, there was actually talk that Mikel LaShaw was going to get traded to either the Dolphins or the Colts, actually. They're trying to dish him out, but Trent Richardson just came out of nowhere. It only cost him a first-round pick. And I kind of wonder, it had to be like a closed-door issue. I'm thinking, there had to be some issues between Trent Richardson and North Turner. I mean, I couldn't tell you who the Cleveland head coach is, but it doesn't really matter. Like, North Turner just overshadows it, like Rex Ryan overshadowed, what's his name in Dallas. But it's kind of crazy. And now the Colts actually have the first 2 picks, the two top 5 picks of last year's draft on the same squad now.
1 and 3.
I mean-
It went Luck, RG3, and then Richardson.
And
Spank,
then Richardson, yeah.
Spank. Let me ask you this:
Sure.
Forget the Cleveland end. What does this do on the Colts end? Do you see them vaulting them up to a legit Super Bowl contender with Richardson in the backfield now?
I just, the AFC is actually a toss-up too. I actually had the Bengals going in. I mean, with Denver, like Peyton Manning just gets a little cold in the back of his neck. He just can't play very well for some odd reason. I'm not really have faith with the defense. I mean, Houston's a contender for the division always, no matter what. I just think maybe I can see the Colts in maybe 2 or 3 years actually really becoming like the number 1 team in the AFC.
Interesting.
I really
Right.
believe that.
I don't think it puts them in the Super Bowl this year.
a trade for the
I think
future,
it gives
huh?
them the division this year, maybe. Maybe
Probably,
they
yeah.
win a game in the playoffs, and towards the
I-
AFC
you know, I-
championship, something like that.
Yeah, I think the Colts will probably get a wild card game and win that, either if they're home or if they're away. But other than that, the running game looks good. You know what? They're probably gonna have to find a number 2 because T.Y. Hilton's gonna be the 1 there in the future. I don't think they're gonna re-sign Reggie Wayne. I don't think
Well,
they're
let's stay on this
last
year,
on
kid.
that.
Let's stay on this year.
What are you
One-
doing?
One game at a time here.
Yeah.
You're getting ahead of
The
yourself,
Colts
Spank.
ownership does just a fine job.
Yeah.
They don't need you to build a team.
So, but no,
No,
but Spank,
a
you're
GM's
absolutely.
mind is always the future. They always look 2 years ahead. I don't know. That's usually what
All
I
right, well,
try
listen,
and do.
Spank, you GM that ship with the Pizza Masters, and we look forward to the expansion. And no,
Oh, yeah.
we appreciate the call. Definitely, as we spoke about earlier, that trade
Yeah.
was definitely unexpected, something that you don't see very often in the NFL. So maybe the biggest surprise of the year. How about that trade? Right,
Oh, yeah.
that's definitely got to be up there.
Oh man, definitely so far in the short season. I mean,
Yeah, that's the biggest surprise.
How about a surprise team? Positive or negative? Biggest surprise of the season, team wise. Nipsey, positive or negative? Who you got?
I got the Chargers actually. I'm pretty impressed by. I mean, it seems like they could have beat the Texans on Monday night without
They
a
had
total
them, right?
debacle.
They had them, yeah.
And then they go into Philly on a short week.
Going
On-
across the
On
country.
the 1:00
Yeah.
game, and they go in there. I mean, I know the Eagles left the door open, but I mean, putting up those points. I mean, they still scored 30-something points, and everybody, like you said, had Rivers dead to rights. I mean,
Ryan
nobody,
Matthews, right? He did nothing last
you
year.
couldn't name a receiver that was getting drafted in fantasy drafts, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mike McCoy, I guess where was he last year in Denver? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah.
I mean, maybe they got something. I don't know. I don't see him. maybe, but I would be surprised if they
Right,
go
yeah,
80.
they have been surprised.
That Charger offensive line was the worst in football. Them and the Bears, right? They were two of the
Yeah.
worst in football, and they both played pretty well. So as a position group, both of those units have played pretty well. Rich, biggest surprise so far this year?
Well, even though I have them winning their division, I have the Dolphins as my biggest surprise for the good. I mean, I figured they'd be 1-1 right now, losing to the Colts. I didn't see them beating the
Going
Colts.
into Indy,
Right,
getting that game. Ryan
but-
Tannehill
and
with a
especially,
game-winning drive.
with who's that, Wallace? Yeah, with him complaining
Mike
after
Wallace.
week 1, going into Indy. So they surprised me coming at Indy with the win 2-0, now 3-0 or 2-0 going to play Atlanta this week. It's going to be a very big test for those boys to see actually how good they are.
All right, interesting. Okay, how about coaching? Coaching decisions or coaches in general, things you haven't liked. I'm going to take this one. I referenced it earlier. Biggest coaching decision negatively that I've seen so far, that San Diego Philly game. Chip Kelly managed the end of that game terribly.
Yeah.
They get the ball, right? They get in field goal range. They get the ball at 2:30. They run 2 plays before the 2-minute warning, and they kick their field goal with like a minute 50 left, having the ball. Chip, you gotta run the ball. You gotta run the clock down. You're in field goal range. You need a field goal to win. He gave the Chargers, especially with his defense looking like it was, right? They were getting sliced up left and right. Gave the Chargers entirely too much time. He also admitted that he didn't know the rule with the timeout. Vic gets his helmet knocked off. He doesn't know he can call timeout to get Vic back in the field. He sends Foles out.
Throws a pass there. Doesn't even run the ball.
Right. Chip Kelly, I like his offensive
it's an
system.
adjustment for him.
I like it, but learning on the fly, you don't do that in the NFL. That's not the place to do it. You want to go play, high school football is one thing, but
Managing the clock will kill you. I mean, I've seen it over the years with Jason Garrett. It absolutely kills you if you don't manage your timeouts right and you give that other team too much time.
And that's
It'll
what Andy
get you
Reid was known
every
for.
time.
Those
Oh,
bad,
brutal.
Bad time management decisions.
Oh.
They always made jokes that they should have a kid who plays Madden go stand next to him during a game
and tell him how to manage the clock. Right?
No, you got to run the clock out now and not give him a chance to score.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Eagles, man, Chip Kelly botched the end of that game. But so stay with coaching. How about the best or the biggest surprise or the best coaching job that you've seen so far this year in the NFL? Who do you like as a coach this year?
I liked Doug Marrone with the Bills.
Okay.
It seems like, with DJ Manuel, I mean, I think they got a lot of pieces in place. I mean, the defense, they got Mario Williams. I know their secondary is a little banged up now, but, I mean, I think once they get those guys back, I mean, I see him being one of the best, young rookie guys. I had Kelly down there, too, but just for the offense and not for the time management. But Marrone, I feel like, has been pretty impressive.
Rich, who do you like so
I'll
far?
go with Pete Carroll, Seattle. I
Okay.
mean, after the spanking he just laid on San Fran, he's ready. He's got those boys ready to play up there. And
I'll tell you what, with Carroll in the offseason, one of the biggest, that Seattle defense, for as
I'm
good
not
as
a
it
Pete
was.
Carroll guy at all.
Yeah, for as good as it was, that Seattle defense, though, they didn't rush a passer that effectively. They had Bruce Irvin coming in. He can't stop the run, so he's a third down player. So they signed Cliff Averill from Detroit, who wasn't a huge player in Detroit, but they signed Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett. Give them a pass rush now, and you put that secondary in a pass rush. Great job in the offseason. Adding those little pieces that
And they don't have Harvin either. I mean, which is just like.
Yeah.
No one's talked about it yet, but I mean that throw another offensive weapon on there.
Well, they never had him. They didn't have him last year.
Yeah.
Either, right?
Yeah, but I mean, just imagine how much more dangerous they could
Right.
be. I mean, after they spanked probably one of the top 5 teams in the NFL.
And Harvin has tweeted. Harvin thinks he's coming back, man. In the middle of the year, he thinks he's coming back.
Well, that's another running joke that all the Seahawks are on PEDs after all the suspensions last year.
Well,
And
why
then,
not, right? Yeah,
got
Sherman
Harvin
got
coming back
yeah.
early. I mean,
Yeah. Well, hey, whatever works. All right, how about coaches look like they're on? I know it's only week 2, but coaches that might be on their way out. Who haven't you liked so far, coach-wise?
I could go 2 here too. Rivera or Schiano. Either one, I feel like both could. I mean, Schiano, you got all the news coming out of camp. But first, it was the Freeman thing about him rigging
The captaincy and all, yeah.
And then you got Rivas coming out bad about it, and I feel like that message, that military message, can only go so far with the with pros that are making $20 million a year.
Right.
They're going to be like, they're just going to drown you out eventually and give
Right.
up on you.
They just signed Rivas to a $16 million contract. He's not, and especially coming from Rex Ryan, where he lets them do whatever they want. They come in. But to Schiano, and I'm partial to Schiano, I'm a Rutgers guy, but the reason they got rid of Raheem Moore is because they were letting the inmates run the asylum.
That's
Schiano
exactly
comes in,
what's coming
tries
down the
to
road now,
set some boundaries. You know what it comes down to? The Bucks are 20 seconds away from being 2-0. They should, that guy.
That's
he doesn't
true.
hit the Jets guy going out of bounds.
Well,
Geno
you know
Smith.
what?
They win that game. They should be 2-0.
It was
And
the
so
same-
winning cures all. But the 0-2, here
It was
we are.
The same story last year with that team, though. They were in so many close games, and at the end, they just didn't know how to finish out games, and they got to learn that eventually.
I think
It's a lot of the coaching,
same
too.
lesson holds true for Ron Rivera and the Carolina Panthers, man.
These
You know,
young
how
teams,
how
they
many
have to
how many
learn.
games they going to lose in the last? They must have lost 5 or 6 games in the last minute last year.
I remember that Atlanta game, right?
Oh,
it
my
cost
God.
me so much.
Where they
money.
could have went for it on 4th and 1. They decided to punt,
Right.
give Atlanta the ball
And
back.
Matty
and
Ryan came right down and
Yeah.
kicked the field goal.
Carved
Yeah.
them up. Yeah.
All right, how about we pay a lot of attention to the draft, the NFL draft. It's a big event. What rookies have impressed you so far? Who have you liked rookie wise? Obviously, we don't have the big time quarterbacks like we did the prior year with Luck and Wilson. Well, Wilson early on didn't even look that good, but Luck and RG3, we don't seem to have that this year necessarily. But who do you like rookie wise so far?
I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins out of
Texas.
the Texans.
All right.
The guy I knew little about going into the season, but looks really impressive. I mean, caught 5 balls the first game, and then when Andre Johnson went out that last game and Texans had to throw it, I mean, I think he came up with like 8 for 120. Seems like the Texans might have finally found a second fiddle to go with Andre Johnson.
Yeah, and then you got Ben Tate, Arian Foster in the backfield, which I find it intriguing how they're going to manage that situation, right? With Tate and Foster, Tate wants
Everyone's
the ball.
saying Tate looks better. Too. I mean, running the ball but
You have only so many carries in the NFL. Rich, rookies for you.
Well, as we were talking before, I'm highly impressed with EJ Manuel. Like you said, they could have been 2-0. Played the Pats very tough, but also as we were talking earlier, there IV. How about that those 2 guys on the Bears offensive line, right? It shorted up big
Long
time.
and the other kid, he was like a late round draft pick. He's playing tackle, 5th to 6th round draft pick, and Long at guard. Yeah, absolutely.
It's huge. I mean, they're keeping Cutler on his feet, and Cutler's going to win games if he's on his feet.
only
Absolutely.
1 sack so far allowed.
Yeah, I mean, you got to maybe attribute a little bit to that Mark Trestman offense getting the ball out quick, but that was always the Bears' biggest Achilles.
Right,
Is,
remember?
is that offensive line? They couldn't
He was like a
protect them.
tackle dummy in Giant Stadium a few years ago.
Yeah,
remember?
always led the league in sacks, right? Always led the league in sacks.
But
and, here they go.
If he's upright in the pocket and he gets a little bit to throw with Brandon Marshall out there, you've seen it in Denver. 124 times in a season. They can make things happen out there, man.
Absolutely. All right, how about we change it up a little bit, a little one-liner. Nips, you were just at the Giants tailgate, right? You're a staple in the Giants parking lot.
Absolutely.
Best tailgate food. What do you got?
I was thinking about this actually. We had a little bit of it on Sunday. Sausage and peppers.
The old sauce, the old go-to. That's
You like the old sausage,
That's
huh?
a staple, huh?
The old sausage.
I always like to keep it simple. People
Do
go.
you go with the hot sausage or the sweet?
We went hot, but you
like
go
the hot.
either. I mean,
I
it's
like the
simple. It's easy. You get I don't like
you guys like hot or sweet sausage?
with buffalo wings, and you don't have all the accoutrements that you would at a restaurant. So
Accoutrement. I know the beard wasn't coming up with that.
I know Walsh left his dictionary.
Rich, what do you think? How about I'll change it up for you, Rich. Instead of the best tailgate food, best tailgate game. What do you like as the best tailgate game?
I like to play beer pong in the parking lot. I enjoy beer pong tremendously.
it's a little tough at Giant Stadium. We've learned
The
this.
swirling wings.
Right.
Yeah, but
It throws down your
agree with
accuracy.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, beer pong in the parking lot. I don't think you could be.
I mean,
get ready for a
cornhole's
game.
coming up soon, I think, with the
Oh yeah.
popularity. But I'll go. I'll
It's
go
a
with
rising,
challenge
yeah.
and the drinking involved.
All right, awesome. So, Guy, what'd you think of the old NFL fill in the blanks segment?
I enjoyed it thoroughly. And,
Yeah,
liked it.
nice.
That was
that was
like
good.
right out of PTI.
Next. Good night, Canada. And on that note, we're going to take a break right here. We're going to go to LEA. Is that Leah? I guess it is. Leah Robinson with Can You Get
That was a Walsh
Me
moment.
Higher?
LEA.
LEA Robinson with Higher. This is 14A Sports.
15 minutes of fame. Let's go.